Have you ever wondered if something as simple and common as a tomato could be a silent hero in your journey to better health? Many of us pass by tomatoes at the grocery store or grow them in our backyard gardens without ever realizing the powerful impact they can have on our blood pressure. But the truth is, this vibrant red fruit holds within it a compound that speaks directly to the health of your heart and arteries. It is time we give tomatoes the credit they deserve. The key lies in a substance called lycopene. Lycopene is what gives tomatoes their rich red color, but more than that, it acts as a strong antioxidant. Antioxidants are compounds that protect your cells from damage caused by oxidative stress, which plays a central role in inflammation and the aging of your blood vessels. As we age, the risk of high blood pressure increases, not just from lifestyle, but from the silent wear and tear our blood vessels endure. Lycopene steps in to help calm that storm. Researchers have looked into the power of lycopene and found something remarkable. A study in 2021 reviewed multiple clinical trials and discovered that a concentrated tomato extract, rich in lycopene, led to a noticeable drop in blood pressure. We are not talking about a subtle shift. The systolic number, which is the top number in your blood pressure reading, dropped by about 8 points. That is enough to reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes in a significant way. What is even more interesting is how lycopene works. It helps your blood vessels relax. When your blood vessels are stiff and narrow, your heart has to work harder to pump blood through them. That effort pushes your blood pressure higher. But when those vessels are allowed to relax, the pressure eases, and your heart finds its rhythm again. This is not a theory. This is biology at work. Now, here is a comforting fact for those watching their carbohydrate intake. Tomatoes are naturally low in carbs. One medium-sized tomato has about 4 grams of carbohydrates, making it a perfect fit for low-carb or keto lifestyles. But like all good things in nutrition, the magic is not just in the ingredient, but in how you use it. If you want to truly harness the power of tomatoes, consider incorporating them into your meals in thoughtful ways. A simple tomato salad with olive oil, garlic, and basil is not just a dish. It is a strategy. The olive oil helps with lycopene absorption, and the garlic supports vascular health. Roasted cherry tomatoes offer bursts of flavor and health benefits at the same time. You can blend tomatoes into a chilled gazpacho, or cook them down into a rich sauce for zucchini noodles. The options are many, and each one gives you a new way to support your body. Of course, not all tomato products are created equal. Ketchup, for example, often contains added sugar and salt that may undo the benefits we are trying to achieve. It is always best to go for fresh or minimally processed tomato preparations. If you are reaching for a canned sauce, read the label carefully. You want high lycopene content and low added sugars. For those on a deeper health journey, there are also standardized tomato extracts available in supplement form. These are carefully processed to deliver a high dose of lycopene without the downsides of sodium or sugar. However, supplements should never be your only tool. Whole foods like fresh tomatoes bring along other nutrients and fiber that your body thrives on. If you have dismissed tomatoes before because you thought they were too sugary or acidic, it is time to take another look. They are not just a colorful side dish, they are a tool for longevity, especially for those of us navigating the realities of aging, hypertension, and cardiovascular risks. A simple tomato can be a symbol of taking control in the most down-to-earth way. So next time you hold a tomato in your hand, see it not as a garnish, but as a guardian of your heart. It is a daily choice, a small act with big consequences. And for those of us who believe that food can be our medicine, tomatoes are a delicious and powerful step in the right direction. When was the last time you truly appreciated a stalk of celery? Maybe you used it to scoop up some dip or tossed it into a soup without much thought. But behind its quiet crunch, celery hides a remarkable secret. It is not just a snack. It is a natural ally for your blood pressure and heart health, especially for those of us in midlife and beyond. Celery contains a plant compound with a complex name, but a simple purpose. This compound, known to researchers as NBP, helps relax the muscles surrounding your blood vessels. Imagine your blood vessels as flexible tubes that guide the flow of life through your body. When the muscles around these vessels tighten, pressure builds. But when they relax, the blood flows more freely, and your heart no longer needs to push so hard. There is more. Celery also helps your body manage salt. For people who are not on a low-carb diet, sodium tends to build up. Too much sodium can stiffen blood vessels and increase pressure. But celery encourages your body to release excess salt, helping keep things balanced. This natural diuretic effect makes it especially helpful for those struggling with water retention and swelling. Scientific research backs this up. In 2022, a study observed people with high blood pressure who consumed celery seed extract every day for 4 weeks. By the end of the study, their average systolic blood pressure had dropped by more than 10 points. That kind of drop is not just impressive, it is potentially life-saving. Even if you are following a low-carb or keto lifestyle, celery fits perfectly. One large stalk contains only about 1 gram of carbohydrates. You can eat several stalks a day without throwing off your goals. It is a food that nourishes without burdening your system. Now, how do you bring celery into your routine in a way that feels enjoyable? Of course, you can eat it raw with almond butter or cream cheese. That combination gives you healthy fats along with the crunch. But do not stop there. Chop celery into soups and stews to add flavor and nutrition. Sauté it with onions and garlic as a foundation for savory sauces. Or blend it into a green juice with cucumber and lemon. Just be cautious with added fruits that might raise sugar levels. If you are not fond of the texture of raw celery, consider cooking it down. When sautéed gently with olive oil, it softens and brings a mild sweetness to your dish. It becomes more than a background flavor. It becomes part of your strategy to live better. For those seeking a more concentrated effect, celery seed extract is also available in supplement form. But like all supplements, it works best as part of a whole food approach. Let food lead the way, and let your habits support your healing. Celery may not grab headlines, but its effects speak volumes. Every time you crunch into a stalk, you are making a quiet but meaningful choice for your heart. It is simple, it is accessible, and it works. Have you ever held a handful of berries and thought of them as medicine? These colorful, bite-sized fruits are often seen as a treat, something sweet and refreshing. But behind their bright colors and pleasant flavors, berries carry a powerful message for your blood vessels. They are not just food, they are a form of protection. Berries are packed with compounds called anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give berries their rich red, blue, and purple colors. But anthocyanins do more than make berries beautiful. They help the blood vessels stay flexible and open. They encourage relaxation in the arteries. And when the vessels are relaxed, blood flows with ease and pressure goes down. In 2022, scientists looked at over 100 clinical trials involving berries and blood pressure. The results were clear. People who regularly ate berries saw a consistent drop in their blood pressure. The more frequently they ate them, the more benefits they experienced. This was not about extremes. Just a few servings a week made a difference. But what kinds of berries work best? Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and even lesser-known berries like chokeberries all show promise. Some, like chokeberries, have stronger effects. But even the berries commonly found in your local market carry measurable benefits. And most of them are naturally low in sugar, especially when eaten in modest portions. You do not need to eat bowls of berries like a bear in the wild. A small handful added to your breakfast or enjoyed as a snack is enough to create an impact. The key is consistency. Make berries a regular part of your week, not just an occasional indulgence. If you are watching your carbohydrate intake, berries are a safe choice. Strawberries and raspberries have low net carbs. Blueberries carry slightly more, but in small amounts, they still fit within a healthy low-carb or keto lifestyle. And remember, they bring more than just flavor. They bring antioxidants, fiber, and anti-inflammatory compounds. There are many ways to enjoy berries without adding sugar. Toss them into a bowl of plain Greek yogurt, making sure to choose a brand with low carbs and no hidden sweeteners. Blend them into a smoothie with spinach and unsweetened almond milk, but always check your ingredients to avoid stealth carbs. Cook them gently with a splash of lemon for a homemade berry sauce, or simply eat them fresh and unadorned. Their natural flavor speaks for itself. One of the gifts of berries is that they are both practical and powerful. You do not need a prescription. You do not need a special diet plan. You just need the intention to eat better. And for many people, trying to lower their blood pressure naturally, that simple step makes all the difference. Berries are nature's quiet healers. Small enough to fit in your palm, strong enough to protect your heart. Let them become a familiar part of your routine. Their benefits grow with time. Most people think of onions as a cooking base, something you chop up and toss into a pan without a second thought. They make your eyes water. They fill the room with a sharp smell. But what if I told you that these humble bulbs carry inside them a compound that could help ease the pressure on your heart? Onions are rich in a natural substance called quercetin. It is an antioxidant, but not just any antioxidant. Quercetin works in a unique way, directly affecting a key system that controls blood pressure. It blocks something called the angiotensin-converting enzyme. That enzyme has a strong influence on how tight or relaxed your blood vessels are. The tighter the vessels, the higher the pressure. But when you block that enzyme, the vessels relax and pressure comes down. This is the same mechanism used by a common class of blood pressure medications known as ACE inhibitors. So when you eat onions, you are not just flavoring your food. You are feeding your body a natural version of what millions of people take in pill form every day. In a clinical study done in 2015, researchers gave people an onion extract high in quercetin. After a few weeks, their blood pressure dropped by 3 to 4 points. That may not sound like a big number, but in the world of blood pressure, it matters. A drop that small can mean fewer strokes, fewer heart attacks, and less strain on your kidneys. The best part is that you do not have to eat onions raw to get the benefits. Cooked onions still contain quercetin. And if you have ever grilled or sautéed onions until they turned golden and sweet, you know how they can transform a meal. Whether added to omelets, salads, soups, or sauces, onions bring more than flavor. They bring support for your circulatory system. If you are counting carbs, there is good news. A half cup of chopped red onion has about 5 grams of carbohydrates. That fits into most low-carb diets, especially when the onions are part of a larger meal with healthy fats and fiber. And if you want even more benefit, choose red onions. They have the highest concentration of quercetin among the different types. Looking for creative ways to enjoy onions? Grill thick onion slices until they are caramelized and soft. Add them to a stir-fry with bell peppers and lean beef. Use them as the base for a broth. Or chop them finely with celery and garlic to start any savory dish on the right note. You can even make low-carb onion rings by coating them with crushed nuts instead of breadcrumbs. It is easy to overlook onions. They are not flashy. They do not carry the prestige of some exotic superfood, but they have stood the test of time, offering their quiet benefits from generation to generation. Every time you peel and slice one, remember this: you are not just preparing food, you are lowering resistance, inside and out. Let onions be more than background. Let them be part of your health strategy, one layer at a time. When you think of fruits that support heart health, kiwi may not be the first that comes to mind. But this small, fuzzy fruit holds a powerful combination of nutrients that can gently but clearly influence your blood pressure. For those of us looking for natural ways to support cardiovascular wellness, kiwi offers something both refreshing and effective. Kiwi is rich in vitamin C, potassium, and antioxidants. These nutrients work together in harmony to reduce inflammation, ease pressure in the arteries, and help balance fluids in your body. Let us start with vitamin C. It is one of the most studied antioxidants in nutrition. Its job is to fight oxidative stress, the cellular damage that builds up over time, especially in blood vessels. By reducing this internal stress, vitamin C helps preserve the flexibility and strength of your arteries. Potassium is another key player. It works as a counterbalance to sodium. While sodium tends to hold onto water and raise blood pressure, potassium encourages your body to release excess fluids and eases the tension in blood vessel walls. This balance is especially important as we age, when our bodies become more sensitive to imbalances. In a study comparing kiwi to apples, participants ate 3 kiwis a day or 1 apple daily for 8 weeks. The kiwi group showed greater reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. That is a strong message from a very gentle fruit. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what works. You might be wondering if kiwi is too sweet or too high in carbs for your goals. The answer is no. 1 medium kiwi has about 10 grams of carbs. That is manageable for most eating plans, especially when you consider the dense nutrition packed into every bite. And remember, you do not have to eat multiple kiwis every day to gain benefits. Even 1 kiwi, enjoyed regularly, brings value. How can you bring kiwi into your meals? Start with the simplest method. Cut it in half and eat it with a spoon. The flesh is tender and naturally sweet, and even the skin is edible if you prefer. For something more elegant, slice it into a spinach salad with walnuts and a sprinkle of feta. The contrast in flavor and texture wakes up the palate. If you like chilled treats, freeze kiwi slices and drop them into a glass of water or unsweetened tea. They add flavor and a cooling touch, especially in warm weather. Or blend kiwi into a low-carb smoothie with almond milk, spinach, and chia seeds. Just remember to keep an eye on total carbs if you add other fruits. Kiwi is not a miracle cure, but it is a reliable companion on the journey to better blood pressure. It brings gentle support, not sudden fixes. And that kind of steady natural help is often what we need most. In every slice of kiwi, there is a reminder. Health does not always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it comes in small, green, tart bites that make you pause and feel grateful for simple things done well. There is something comforting about cracking open a pistachio. That small act of effort before reward mirrors what it means to care for your health. And in the case of blood pressure, pistachios offer more than taste. They bring with them a quiet but powerful support system for your cardiovascular health. Pistachios are packed with nutrients that directly affect how your heart and blood vessels function. One of the most important of these is potassium. As we have seen in other foods, potassium helps balance out the effects of sodium in your body. It encourages the release of excess fluid and helps the blood vessels relax. This natural softening of the vascular system makes it easier for blood to flow, which lowers the pressure within. But pistachios do more than just offer potassium. They also contain healthy fats, especially monounsaturated fats. These are the same kinds of fats found in olive oil and avocados. They help reduce inflammation and support better cholesterol levels, which in turn protect your arteries from damage. And then there are the antioxidants. Pistachios are rich in polyphenols, which act like cleanup crews inside your blood vessels. They neutralize free radicals and reduce the wear and tear caused by daily life and aging. Over time, this protection adds up, especially when we make these foods part of our routine, not just our treats. In a meta-analysis published in 2021, researchers reviewed 13 studies involving over 500 people. They found that those who regularly ate pistachios had an average drop in systolic blood pressure of about 2 points. Now, That might not sound like a dramatic change, but even a small drop in blood pressure can significantly reduce your risk of stroke or heart attack. When it comes to carbohydrates, pistachios can fit into a low-carb or keto diet with some planning. 1 ounce of pistachios, which is roughly 49 nuts, contains about 8 grams of total carbs. However, it also has about 3 grams of fiber, bringing the net carbs down to around 5 grams. That means a small handful can be a heart-smart, low-carb snack. The way you eat pistachios matters too. Eating them in the shell slows you down, making it easier to control portions. Chop them up and sprinkle over roasted vegetables like cauliflower or green beans. Blend them with olive oil and herbs into a pesto-like sauce for grilled meats or fish. You can even use crushed pistachios as a coating for baked chicken or fish, a flavorful and crunchy alternative to breadcrumbs. What pistachios offer is simple: a way to take care of your heart without needing a prescription, without needing to change everything overnight. Just a small handful, a little consistency, and a little awareness can take you far. Let each pistachio remind you that good health is not a single big action. It is a series of small, wise choices, day after day, bite by bite. There is something deeply satisfying about the first bite of dark chocolate. It is not just the taste, it is the feeling that you are indulging in something rich while also doing something kind for your body. For many of us, especially in the middle chapters of life, dark chocolate becomes more than a treat. It becomes part of a mindful approach to heart health. Dark chocolate is rich in a group of plant compounds called flavonols. These compounds have been shown to relax the blood vessels, improve circulation, and lower blood pressure. The mechanism is both simple and profound. When your blood vessels relax, the pressure inside them drops. Your heart does not have to work as hard, and the risk of complications like stroke or heart attack goes down. One large meta-analysis looked at over 100 trials and found that consuming flavanol-rich foods, like dark chocolate, resulted in noticeable drops in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. This means that both the top and bottom numbers in your reading can improve with regular moderate intake. But not all chocolate is created equal. The kind of dark chocolate that helps your blood pressure is not the sweetened, creamy version that lines most store shelves. What you need is chocolate that contains at least 70% cocoa content. The higher the percentage, the more flavanols it contains, and the lower the sugar content. You also need to be aware of something else: heavy metals. In recent years, tests on various brands of dark chocolate revealed that many contain trace amounts of cadmium and lead. These metals, when consumed over time, can be harmful to your health. A report from Consumer Reports tested 28 brands and found that 23 exceeded the recommended safety levels. Fortunately, a few brands did pass the test. Options like Ghirardelli 72%, Taza 76%, Mast 80%, and Valrhona 85% were among those with safer levels. Choosing the right brand matters. It is not just about taste, it is about trust. As with any food, portion control is important. A small square or two of dark chocolate a few times a week is enough to bring benefits without overloading on calories or sugars. You can enjoy it on its own, melt it into a low-carb dessert, or pair it with a handful of berries for an antioxidant-rich snack. If you are on a low-carb or keto diet, look for dark chocolate with minimal added sugar. Some brands even use natural low-glycemic sweeteners like stevia or erythritol, making them more compatible with blood sugar control. Dark chocolate does not replace medication or a balanced diet, but it can complement your efforts. It reminds us that health does not have to be bland or boring. It can be rich, bold, and deeply satisfying. Every time you let a piece of dark chocolate melt on your tongue, let it be more than pleasure. Let it be purpose. A quiet act of care for your heart, your blood vessels, and your future. If there is one category of food that consistently earns its place on every heart-healthy list, it is fatty fish. Not just any fish, but those rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, and herring. These fish bring more than protein to your plate. They bring essential support for your blood pressure and vascular health. Omega-3 fatty acids are unique. They act as natural anti-inflammatories, reducing the irritation inside blood vessels that leads to stiffness and plaque buildup. When inflammation goes down, the vessels become more elastic, allowing blood to flow more freely. That gentle flow reduces the strain on the heart and lowers both the top and bottom numbers of your blood pressure reading. In 2022, researchers examined over 70 studies involving more than 5,000 people. They found that consuming just 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per day led to significant drops in blood pressure. That is not a high dose. It can be achieved by eating 2 servings of salmon a week or a small can of sardines each day. Small choices, big results. The benefits do not stop there. Fatty fish also support healthy triglyceride levels, reduce the risk of arrhythmias, and provide vital nutrients like vitamin D and selenium. These nutrients work together to protect your heart, your brain, and your joints, making them especially important as we age. But not all fish are safe to eat in large amounts. Some of the larger fish, like swordfish, shark, and king mackerel, can contain high levels of mercury. This heavy metal builds up in the body over time and can cause harm, especially to the nervous system. That is why it is safer to focus on smaller fish that sit lower on the food chain. They tend to have less mercury and still offer the same benefits. There is another modern concern to consider: microplastics. These tiny particles can make their way into the oceans and be consumed by fish. While the science is still developing, it is wise to choose wild-caught or responsibly farmed fish when possible. You can also trim the skin and fat, where contaminants may concentrate, to reduce exposure. For those who prefer not to eat fish or have limited access, purified fish oil supplements offer an alternative. Many are tested for mercury and contaminants. Just be sure to choose a reputable brand and store it properly to preserve its quality. In the kitchen, fatty fish is versatile. Grill a salmon fillet with herbs and lemon. Toss sardines into a salad with olive oil and fresh greens. Make a simple fish stew with tomatoes, garlic, and basil. Or enjoy mackerel on a slice of low-carb bread with a few slices of avocado. Fatty fish is more than a menu item. It is a message, a way to care for your heart, your mind, and your body with each bite. It is one of those foods where the flavor and function come together in perfect harmony. Let your meals speak the language of health. Let fatty fish be part of that voice. Most people think of yogurt and kefir as just breakfast items or snacks. But for those of us paying close attention to blood pressure and heart health, fermented dairy holds a deeper value. It is not just what it tastes like. It is what it becomes after bacteria have worked their quiet magic. When milk is fermented, the proteins inside it are broken down into small chains called peptides. Among these peptides are 2 important ones, known as IP and VPP. These peptides have a unique role. They naturally block the angiotensin-converting enzyme, the same enzyme targeted by many blood pressure medications. Blocking this enzyme helps the blood vessels stay relaxed and lowers blood pressure. This is not just theory. A clinical study published in a respected nutrition journal found that people who consumed dairy products rich in these peptides saw their systolic pressure drop by 6 points and their diastolic pressure drop by 4. That is a meaningful shift, especially for those hovering in the borderline or mildly hypertensive range. But not all dairy products offer this benefit. You need fermented dairy that is plain, unsweetened, and contains live active cultures. That means skipping the fruit-on-the-bottom yogurts and sugar-filled versions that line store shelves. Look for simple Greek yogurt, kefir, and traditional cultured drinks like Laban or Film Joke. These are the types that support your health, not sabotage it. If you are watching your carb intake, fermented dairy can still fit. 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt has about 6 grams of carbs. Kefir tends to have more, around 8 to 10 grams per cup, but the benefits may outweigh the carb content, especially when portioned wisely. Choose full-fat versions when possible, as they are more filling and less processed. How can you enjoy fermented dairy in your routine? Start with a half cup of plain yogurt topped with chia seeds and a few raspberries. Use kefir as a base for a smoothie, blending it with spinach and a few ice cubes. Or, stir plain yogurt into a sauce with garlic and herbs as a topping for grilled meats. For those sensitive to lactose, do not give up just yet. The fermentation process breaks down much of the lactose in milk, making yogurt and kefir easier to digest than fresh milk. You may find that your body tolerates these forms better, especially if introduced gradually. And if dairy is not an option at all, you can still get some benefits from plant-based fermented foods. Options like tempeh, miso, kimchi, and sauerkraut offer support for gut health and inflammation, though they do not provide the same blood pressure-lowering peptides. Fermented dairy is not about flavor alone. It is about function. A quiet ally in your daily diet, working behind the scenes to keep your arteries soft and your numbers in check. It is nourishment and science blended in every spoonful. Let it be part of your rhythm. One more step in your journey toward a more balanced, more resilient body. For years, red meat has carried a heavy reputation when it comes to heart health. People have been told to avoid it, fearing its fat content, its link to weight gain, and its assumed connection to high blood pressure. But science, like life, is rarely black and white. And when we look more closely at lean beef, especially in the context of a thoughtful diet, a different picture begins to form. Lean beef contains valuable nutrients that support the body in ways many people overlook. It is a rich source of protein, iron, zinc, and B vitamins, all of which contribute to cellular health, energy, and blood function. But the real surprise comes when lean beef is included in a balanced eating pattern. Instead of causing harm, it may actually help. A major study conducted in 2025 followed people who adopted a Mediterranean-style diet that included lean beef. This version of the diet was already rich in vegetables, fruits, nuts, and olive oil. The researchers wanted to see whether adding lean beef would harm or help blood pressure. What they found challenged expectations. People who ate lean beef regularly, in portions ranging from half an ounce to 2.5 ounces per day, experienced lower blood pressure compared to those on a traditional Mediterranean plan without beef. The explanation lies not only in the meat itself, but also in what it replaces. When lean beef is eaten instead of highly processed foods or refined carbohydrates, the overall nutrient density of the diet improves. The protein helps keep blood sugar steady. The iron supports oxygen transport. And most importantly, when beef is paired with fiber-rich vegetables, herbs, and spices, it becomes part of a heart-healthy plate, not an enemy. If you follow a low-carb or keto lifestyle, beef becomes even more important. It is naturally low in carbohydrates and provides the kind of satiety that helps with weight management, which in turn influences blood pressure. The key is choosing the right cuts. Go for options like sirloin, tenderloin, or lean ground beef. Trim visible fat. Avoid processed meats filled with sodium and preservatives. How can you include lean beef wisely? Make a stir-fry with sliced beef, bell peppers, and broccoli. Grill a lean steak and serve it with roasted Brussels sprouts. Simmer it in a stew with tomatoes, celery, and onions. Use herbs like garlic, rosemary, and thyme to boost flavor without adding salt. Beef does not have to be the villain in your story. When chosen and prepared with care, it can be part of a powerful nutritional strategy. The shift comes from context, from what else is on your plate, from how often and how much you eat, and from how you balance it with movement, rest, and connection to your own well-being. Let go of the old guilt. Embrace a new approach, one that respects tradition but welcomes nuance, one that listens to the science and honors the individual. In the end, Lean beef may offer something more than nourishment. It may offer permission to enjoy your meals again, with confidence and calm.